Hey everybody, Omar here, the Knife Sharp Guy. I'm back with my brand new background, as you can see, and I'm going to continue on with the next four knives in my collection, starting with the Spyderco Mantra. Now, one of the main reasons I had to have this knife was because it was basically a Delica on steroids, as I heard someone on YouTube once say, and he's absolutely correct. One of the reasons what turned me off on a Delica was the fact they had that blue, they had that plastic handle, and the plastic handle really just didn't do anything for me. But when I found out that they actually made a Delica looking knife that was titanium, I immediately ran to the store. I didn't even go to eBay. I just ran down to my local knife store, picked this baby up, and I've been happy ever since. I had to have this knife in my collection because I knew that the ergos on a Delica were amazing. I actually went to the store and I felt it. The only turn off was that I didn't like the plastic handle on that. So I picked up the Spyderco Mantra, and the knife actually has some flaws, and one of the major flaws is this knife is actually, in my opinion, it was an experimental piece as far as the action goes on it. Sort of a turnoff. I think I talked about it in the video before. Eric Lesser, who designed the Spyderco Mantra, he wanted to create a high-end Delica in ball bearings, and he decided to experiment with incredibly small ball bearings inside the knife, and it didn't really work as well as he had thought. And the reason is that, did you see that? It's sometimes when you're flipping it, you get that. Really what you want is that. But there's no way to guarantee that. The only way you can guarantee that you can do that every time is if you hold the flipper, which was another flaw in the knife. The flipper, as you notice, it's downward angle. If he had made it, maybe taken this part here and maybe switched it so that it was flat on top and maybe curved on the bottom, you'd get this every time. But because of the weak ball bearing system, using very tiny ball bearing systems in there, and the weak flipper made the action not as good. And a lot of people were not happy with that, but other buyers like myself, I put up with it. Why? The steel is CPM M4. Okay, that was necessary for me to have on my knife, and I thought that was just a selling point, real strong selling point. That and the all-titanium handle made it nice to own. So there you have it, the Spyderco Delica. So basically it was the handle, titanium handle, construction, and the CPM M4 steel. And the action I could live with. I could live with the action on this knife. I liked it. And the fact that it was Delica shaped. So there you have it. The second knife is the complete opposite of the knife I just showed you. This is the Demetri Syncovich 0456 black wash knife. I have trouble remembering the numbers. I know a lot of people do. This knife is the complete opposite. It's a very heavy piece. The handle itself is like 3 times the weight of the blade. Which, by the way, is a beautiful blade. It's a sheep's foot shape, a modified sheep's foot. A true sheep's foot, I think, would be just completely flat all the way down. But this knife, they gave the sheep foot sort of a little, a good part of it is sheep's foot. And then up here, you got a little bit of I think a belly or a curve to it. This was another knife, which kind of matches this one as far as having a flaw. I don't know if you can see this, but the flipper became the flaw because you put the knife down and there's not, you're getting a whole bunch of blade here. I don't know if you can see it, but you're getting a whole bunch of blade over here that's not touching the cutting surface, and also back here. But it's basically, in my opinion, it's a sheep's foot knife that was meant for like drawing type or slicing type this way. That's how the knife was meant to be used. But the fact that there's a certain section of the knife that doesn't get used when you put it up against a surface flat like that. I think that was a turn off for a lot of people. And the fact that it's a very heavy piece in your pocket, that may have been another turn on. But that's, oddly enough, that's the main reason why I have the piece in my collection. You don't see too many knives that are very hefty like this and short. I mean, I love that idea. I thought that was fantastic. And it was in black wash. I had to have the black wash color. Black wash is always nice to have in a collection, simply because you can use the hell out of it. And not have to worry about scratches or dings or whatever, because the black wash color takes care of that for you. It's basically saying it's all right to have a few dings and scratches on it, because I'm already scratched and dinged up, and yet I'm brand new. That's kind of a neat feature on a piece. That I always love. So the black wash feature always turned me on. DLC coating, by the way, folks, turns me off. It's the complete opposite of black wash. That one, as soon as you scratch it up, you're pissed off. So I'm kind of happy that they released this knife in black wash rather than in that DLC coating. That, again, the steel CV20, high-end, premium. All the knives in my collection are premium steel and up. There is no Mold 13 in my user collection, folks. So that just does not happen. And I also love the look of the style and the ergonomics of it. You know, that was another reason why it's in my collection. The fact it's got these nice 3D handles on there, I love that. I'm always into the 3D sculpturing on pieces. It just adds a little something extra in texture. So there you have it, the ZT-005. Why do I keep forgetting the numbers on these? The 0456 black wash. There you go. The next one's an easy number to remember. This is the ZT-0900. Now, I have an affinity for small knives like this. This knife was the main reason I had to have this knife was because it represented ZT in sort of a small package. Even though it's a small knife, just to give you let's do a quick size comparison so you can see. Here's the 0056 0562 carbon fiber up against it. It's 3.5. This knife is half that size, as you can see. With the blade length coming in at about 2.7 inches. It's a small knife. One of the main reasons why I had to have this piece in my collection is because it's basically miniature ZT. I thought that was kind of neat. It's tanky. It's a nice blade shape. It's tanky. It's short. It's stout. But there's nothing in this knife when you hold it that doesn't tell you that it's not a ZT. Everything about this knife is ZT in your hand. So I thought it was kind of nice to own a little mini knife that's ZT. And I'm kind of sorry to say this, but Zero Tolerance will not be making any more small knives like this. And I just think they're making a mistake there, because there is a market for this. I would love for them to produce a couple more knives this size range. In fact, I'm probably going to try and make that my next collection, collecting little knives like this that are, you know, of high quality. Because you can put these in your pocket. You don't have to worry about scaring people if they're in your pocket. They're just fantastic. The ZT-0900, really fantastic. Everything about it, again, is ZT. I love the blade shape. The steel was S35VN. And I love the fact that it's written Zero Tolerance on there. You know, that I thought, instead of seeing the ZT on that. So that was kind of nice. And you know, again, the contouring on it, you got like these sort of contoured textures on the knife that give it a nice texture when you're holding it. And it does fit your hand nicely. Even though your pinky kind of drags off, you don't really feel that when you're holding it. So that was another reason why I had to have the ZT-0900 in my collection. Finally, my last piece in my collection. Kind of a unique piece. And probably a knife that's missed by a lot of people. This is the Spyderco Chubby. The knife beater saw this when I sent them a pic of my collection, and he didn't know what knife this was. And yeah, this knife is the Spyderco Chubby. Now, this knife is actually talked about quite a bit up against another knife called the Spyderco Techno, which I actually owned and sold in favor of getting this, for the main reason that it had nice carbon fiber inserts in there, and I love the carbon fiber on a knife, especially on a titanium knife. Say hello to this guy again. You know, I just love carbon fiber and titanium. I think it's a really nice contrast when you're owning a piece to have two textures on there. I thought that was really, really nice. I was in love with the blade shape. I'd never seen a blade shape like that, where it had a lot of belly on it. I felt that was absolutely necessary. And CPM M30V, you can't go wrong. That's actually the lowest steel in this collection of 8 that I own, CPM S30V, and that's not even a crappy steel. That's a pretty fantastic steel. Although S35VN is now kind of stepping up as, not putting this away, but it's making it more and more relevant as opposed to S30V, but S30V is still an excellent steel. So I had to have this piece in my collection, but one of the reasons why a lot of people were turned off by this knife is because of the price. The MSRP on this piece, and I believe the Spyderco Chubby is still running. I'm not sure if it's discontinued. If anybody wants to comment on this video and tell me whether it's discontinued, I don't believe it is. I may be wrong, but one of the reasons that turned people off on this knife was the price. The Spyderco Techno and Wavester64, he's one of my favorite YouTubers. Wavester64 talked about this. If you have or seen or even own the Spyderco Techno, the Spyderco Techno comes in at $175, and this knife comes in at around $220, $225. So to go from $225, oh sorry, to go from $175 to $225, that's like a $75 jump. But you know, granted, and what's weird is that on the Spyderco Techno, you're getting a better steel. You're getting CTS HXP, which is a little better steel than S30V, I think, in my opinion. I could be wrong about that, but I believe that CTS HP is a much better steel than S30V. But, you know, obviously the carbon fiber insert, again, it's the idea that details sometimes will hike the price of a knife up, as the case with Spyderco Swish Bowie. The details more detail went into this knife than steel, and I think that's the same thing that happened with this piece. Details went more into the price than the steel, but you know, it's whatever fits your whatever you tend to fancy, and I happen to like this knife better than the Techno. Plus I like the blade shape on this better than the Techno, so I spent a little bit more money on this knife, but it was definitely worth it because I actually carry this quite a bit. It's another knife, another nice office knife to carry alongside the ZT-0900. I mean, these two knives are practically the same in size. I mean, you can't really, you know, tell really. Granted, the blade on this is not as outstretched as on the ZT-0900, but you know, again, it's in your collection. It's something different. You carry it in your pocket daily. It makes you feel different when you carry them in your pocket every day. When you carry a different knife, you feel different every day. I mean, at least that's how I view it. So there you have it, the final 4 in my user collection. At this moment in time, I only own zero tolerance knives and Spyderco knives because that's what I attach myself to. I seem to have loved their quality of knives, and that's what, if you're starting a knife collection, you're going to notice that. You buy one brand of steel, you're going to stick with that brand of steel until you make the jump into another one. And that's what happened with me. The next knife that I am getting, I'm going to be taking a break from branding. The next knife that I will be getting in my collection is going to be a Sebenza, a Kwai Pond, large Sebenza, and I'm going to do a fantastically big video on that when I do get that knife. Hopefully it will be soon. You know, we're back to scratching for funds, folks. So anyway, there you have it, my final 4 in my user collection. This is Omar, the Knife Shark Guy. I'm sorry I let this video run on long, you know, but when you're passionate about about something, it's it's usually kind of hard to express yourself. So this is Omar signing off once again with his knives, and I am hoping that you guys will find happiness in your next piece of sharp art. This is Omar the Knife Shark Guy signing off. Happy knife hunting, everybody.